Hello and welcome to a new video from Elasticourse. In this video, I will show you how to upgrade your WordPress package by Bitnami on any platform using a few simple steps. I will show you a single WordPress instance running on release 24 and upgrade it all the way to the latest release 41. In this process, we will get more updated packages for PHP, MySQL, and so on. You could not update these individual components in Bitnami images from the apt store, so we have to do a manual upgrade process. All the scripts I used in this video will be in the URL below, so you can copy and do it in your environment as well. Before you start your upgrade process, if you are using any firewall extension such as WordFence, make sure you disable the extended protection so that you don't cause issues in this upgrade or migration process. Now the first step I will do is to log into my old server using SSH. So I will use my SSH client. I'll choose here my old server from the SSH client. Now I'm inside my old server. I will start by turning off all the services that run on the system. This way we can stop any writes or reads for the database and also stop all the PHP processes. So I will use the ctl script to stop all the services. Now as you see, no services are running, except I need to start the database server so I can start copying or backing up my database. So I will use the same command but start Mariadb. And if you are using MySQL, make sure you change this to MySQL. It's the same process. And now I will check the status of the services to make sure that everything is stopped except MySQL or Mariadb. As you see in here, Apache is not running, PHP is not running. So now we are able to access the database and start backing up. So the first step is to go into the home directory, and we will use this home directory folder home Bitnami so we can save all the backup files. So now I will use the sudo mysql dump command to extract all the information from the database, including all the tables, and we'll save it into a SQL file called mysqldump2023.sql. And now I also have to enter my database root password. Now as you see, in a few seconds the file has been created. Now the next step is to compress the main WordPress directory. In Bitnami images, this is located at opt Bitnami Wordpress. In this folder you will see most of the PHP files and folders related to WordPress, except a few shortcuts in here, which is the media folder and the configuration file. They are located in Bitnami Wordpress. So in this file, they are located in a different directory, which means we have to deal with them in a special case. So in this folder, I will use the sudo zip command to compress everything recursively and save it also under the home Bitnami, the home folder, with the file name opt.bitnami.zip. I will compress everything inside this folder, and I will also respect all the symlinks or the shortcuts. This way these two shortcuts in here will be saved as is. Otherwise, what zip will do is it will copy all these files from the destination and paste them in here, which causes a lot of issues in the future. So we are using the symlinks flag to save these shortcuts as is. This process will finish in a few seconds, and now we finished the second file. Now we have to go in the media folder, cd Bitnami WordPress. In this folder, we will compress everything inside as well using the recursive command. Depending on how big your media library is, compressing this folder may take a lot longer than the first folder. So now we finished collecting all the information from the current WordPress installation. Now I will move into my EC2 console and I will start deploying the new instance. So I'm going to go to launch instance. I will call this Bitnami release 41 WordPress. Now I just need to search for the new Bitnami image for WordPress in the AMI store. So now I searched for WordPress Bitnami and I found 4 results. In here there is the main image that runs on Debian and Apache. There is also Nginx server version, and there is the multi-site configuration. So I'll choose the main image, which runs on Apache, PHP, and Mariadb as well. We'll go ahead and continue with this AMI. So now let's go down and finish the configuration. For the instance type, you can choose whatever VM size you would like. In my case, I'll go ahead with the T3 small instance, which has 2 CPUs and 2 gigs of memory. For the next part, we need to create a key pair for the key-based authentication. So we'll go ahead and create a new key. So this new key will be used to access the server via SSH and SFTP. We'll save it as .pem. I'll go ahead and create it as is. So now the key is created. So let's go down and under network settings, we need to make sure we enable assigning a public IP address for this one so that we can get our web server to work in the public internet. So we'll go ahead and enable this option. As far as the security group, you can create a new security group which is going to allow the default port for port 80 and port 443 and SSH. However, if you already have a security group, you can select that as well, so you don't have to create duplicate ones. In my case, I'll go ahead and choose my old WordPress security group. Now, as far as the hard disk, choose the preferable size. Keep in mind that you pay for the whole amount the whole month. You do not only pay for what you use, so make sure you do not oversize your disk. Also keep in mind that Bitnami images are automatically resizing and shrinking once you reboot your instance. So even if you need more storage in the future, all you need to do is expand your volume from the EC2 console and then reboot your instance. So for now, I'll change this to 12 gig, which I know will meet my minimum requirements. Also, if you like to add encryption, make sure you add this under your volume 1. Make sure you choose encrypted. Choose the default key or additional keys if you have more. And now the volume side is all complete. So now I'll go down and I'll confirm for the settings I choose. I have one instance running WordPress by Bitnami, VM size T3 small, firewall security group that was existing WordPress, and finally launch instance. So now as the instance is being prepared, let's go ahead and upload the new PIM file to the old server. From the SSH client, I can also do SFTP, or you can use an application like FileZilla or WinSCP. And as you see in here, I'm in home Bitnami. So this is my home folder. I'll make sure I upload the key in here as well. So now if you take a look, there should be in here 4 files already. The MySQL dump, the opt Bitnami, which is the main WordPress directory compressed file, and also the media and WP config, and finally the PEM file so we can log into the new server or transfer with SCP. So now let's go back to the SSH client and make sure we are in the home directory. I'll need to change the permission of the key file to 600 to make sure it's secure for use when using SCP. Now we are ready to transfer the file, so I will go to the EC2 console so I can tell what is the IP address of the new server. As you see already, the system is alerting me that the service is down. So we'll go ahead and try to make sure that the system is back up as soon as possible because now the service is interrupted. So now this is the new instance and it's running Bitnami on the newer version. So if we click on this, this will be the new IP address for the instance. So now I'll start the first file transfer using SCP. It's using the new key, which is located in the home Bitnami folder. to transfer opt bitnami.zip to the new server. New server will also have Bitnami as the login name because they are using the same image. And this is the public IP address for the new server that I got from the console, 34.228.112.230. This file will be located on the new server in the directory opt Bitnami Wordpress. So now we need to trust this certificate since we are logging to it for the first time. I'll just add yes. And you will see in here the file was transferred very quickly. And now I'll go ahead and start transferring the second zip file, which is the bitnami.zip, into the new server. I'll save it in the home directory on the new server. In a few seconds, this also completed. So I'll go ahead and finally transfer the MySQL backup to the new server using SCP as well. This one will be saved in the home Bitnami folder. So now I'm all done with the old server. Now I just need to log into the new server so I can start dealing with all the files we just transferred over. I'll go one line up and I'll change this command. Instead of using SCP, I will remove all these file parameters. And then I'll change this from SCP to SSH. And this way I logged in to the new server from the old server directly. So now the first thing I need to do is to wipe the existing WordPress directory that is in the new server, because that will be the empty blog that came already on this IP address. So I'll go ahead to the opt Bitnami WordPress directory. So you will see in here all the files that came with the new installation and also the zip file I transferred from the old server. So what I will do is I will delete all the files in here except the zip file. This way, I do not have to deal with any of the old files or do any overrides. So I will use the command sudo unzip opt bitnami.zip to make sure I extract all the files from the zip file. As you see in here, the symlinks are kept as is. So we just need now to do a cleanup step, remove this zip file. Now we are good in the opt Bitnami WordPress. Now because we are using a new installation, we have a new username and password to access the database. Instead of making any changes in the username and password in the database side, I decided to go in the new WP config and copy this information from here so I can reuse it in the actual files I have for the configuration. So as you see in here, this is the Bitnami WordPress. The database name has not changed. There is a username bn_WordPress and also the DP password. So I'll go ahead and copy these lines with me. So now I will head into Bitnami WordPress. As you see, there is the media directory and the configuration file. So we'll go ahead and remove everything inside this folder using the sudo rm-v-r, and then we'll go ahead and extract the files from the backup file. So because this one was in the home Bitnami folder, we will unzip home bitnami.zip. And now for cleanup, we'll just remove the zip file from the home folder. So now I'll go back to my original WP config, the configuration file for WordPress. And I want to make sure I reflect the correct username and password that my old installation can access the new database with. So we'll go down until we find the BN WordPress, make sure everything is matching as far as the username and the database name. And I will paste the database password in here. And finally, I'll save the file. So now the WordPress is able to access the database because it has the username and password to access it. Now, because we copied the files over from the other server, we want to make sure we fix the permissions and the ownership for all the files and folders we just did. So this is done on two levels. The first level is inside the original or the main WordPress directory, which is opt Bitnami WordPress. So we'll go one level up to cd opt Bitnami, and we'll change the owner first for all the files recursively to the correct owner, Bitnami daemon for the group. Now the owners are done. We just need to modify all the files and all the folders. We'll change the permission on all the folders inside the WordPress directory to 775. And also for the files, it will be 664. Now similarly, I'll go ahead to the media folder, one level up, so cd Bitnami. I'll change the ownership first, and then change all the permissions for the folders. I can just go up and select the same command again. And for the files, 664. Now we also need to change the specific permission for the WP config to make it 640. So this is a special case for security reason. Now all the permission and ownership has been fixed for all the files and folders. Now the next step in this case is to swap or replace the SQL database from the backup file. So now we need to grab the credentials to access the database root account, which is usually located in the home Bitnami credentials file. And you can copy this and save it in a safe place. And for security reasons, make sure you remove this file once you have the password saved in a safe place. So now I need to log into the database with the username root and enter the password that I got from the Bitnami credential file. So the simple command I will start with inside Mariadb or MySQL is to drop the database Bitnami WordPress that has the new empty blog. And then I will do a simple command to create a new database with the same name. So this way all the permission for the user are still in place, and we are good to go to exit the Mariadb section. Now I need to reverse the MySQL dump command I used in the first server. I will use the MySQL-u root to log in with the username and define the database Bitnami WordPress to import the file located at home Bitnami MySQL dump 2023.sql. To run this, I also need to enter the database root password one more time. And now the MySQL database has been imported. So now let's do a quick cleanup step by removing the MySQL dump file, because we don't want to keep these important files left on the server. Now we just need to modify the DNS record to point to the new server. So I'll go ahead and copy this IP address, and using your DNS provider, make sure you update the AIR record to point to the new server. So I'm using Route 53, so I will use this Route 53 to update my DNS records. So inside my elasticcourse.com hosted zone, I'll go ahead and find all the AIR records. So I'll go ahead and modify this one first. This is the new server IP address. And also for the www one, I'll go ahead and modify the IP address. And this is important because we need to make sure that the server is reachable on the new IP address for the certificate generation process to work. You can use an online service to check the IP address on the global DNS servers. As you've seen here, in the most DNS servers around the world, the IP address has populated. But if you are using a special DNS server or you have caching enabled, you may need to wait until the cache has expired, or you can flush your DNS cache manually. Now, since the DNS has completed, I'll go ahead and regenerate the certificate on the new server. So I'll go ahead to the binsert tool, which is located at opt Bitnami binsert tool. This one will automatically generate the certificate based on the inputs we will give to the tool. First, it will ask me for the domain name. So I'll go ahead and enter elasticcourse.com. and also www.elasticcourse.com to the domain names to include in the cert. It then will ask me if I want to do an automatic redirection from HTTP to HTTPS. We can do this. This is very good option as well. Enable non-www to www redirection. We will keep it as yes. And then enable www to non-www redirection. We will keep it to no. This is telling us what is going to happen, including the automatic renewal for the cert every month. So we'll go ahead and agree. So I'll go ahead and provide my email and also agree to the Let's Encrypt agreement. And we will leave the tool to do its magic. And in just a few seconds, it said success. Bitnami has generated the certificates. It also made configuration backups for the Apache server before it adds all the HTTPS configuration. So this is the power of the bncert tool. We'll go ahead and enter. And now we just need to make sure we access the site and see if it's working on the new server. So I'll go ahead and access Elasticcourse. And as you see, magically, the server is working on the new installation. Let's go ahead and make sure the certificate is the one that was just created. We'll see in here July 22. Now you upgraded your Bitnami image to a newer version. Thank you for watching.